Hello everyone and welcome back to the interactive tutorial through X3 Town Conflict. I'm Master Bucketsmith and with me is
Lab.
Hello. And this time around we'll be discussing
the various types of ships mostly.
Alright, awesome. And who came up with this question?
I believe it's Freedom Fighter who actually asked for the various types of combats in ships, but we thought, why not just showcase the various types of ships and let the people figure out themselves how to use them, at least in combat, etc.
Right. Yeah. Alright. Well then, we managed to gather some ships together. Let's start off with the Discoverer. Hang on, let me select it. This is the Argon Discover. We're gonna showcase only one race. And we're gonna let everyone explore the ships of the same class of all the other races. So we won't take all the fun away. This is your basic scout type of ship. It's fast, has very little shielding, and weapon capabilities that it has are well, not that impressive. You'll be wanting to use this kind of ship for scouting through sectors, finding new sectors, all that sort of stuff. These are the fastest ships that are in the game. And this is the light fighter. It's one step up. It's got a little bit more shielding. It's the basic fighter you start in when you start a new game. And well, it's pretty straightforward. Got some more weapon options, some better shielding. It's slower, but compensates that with its abilities in combat.
To be honest, to me it looks like they took two helicopters, chopped one into two halves and put it next to the cabin of a whole helicopter.
Yeah,
especially in the side view.
Kind of does. Argon architects are well, compared to other space sims, I don't think this game has bad ship models. I like them. This one reminds me of a goldfish for some reason. Right, let's head on to the Nova. This is the main fighter. This is the next step up. As soon as you have the money for it, these cost like 5 million I believe, so it will take a little while to get that money. You'll want to switch over to these types of fighters. They've got much more shielding. Let's go back and check the buster. Here we go. This one has a maximum of 3 times 5 MGA of shielding. And if you pause the vid, you can check out the other stuff here. And the Nova has a maximum of 3 times 25 MGA shielding. Also, its laser energy bank is a lot higher, so if you're into combat, you'll want to switch over to the M3 type of ship as soon as you can. Just gonna show off the stats for the Scout now. See, it only has 3 times 1 MGA of shielding, which is not a lot. Basically, if you take a Scout and you try to go up against a M3, you'll die with 1 hit. You don't want to do that. Scouts, the M5s really aren't meant to go into combat. Right, what's next? M5.
Question.
Yes?
which of the fighter types we just saw is also the best for other purposes like transport, etc.?
Transport?
Yeah, what is a good, what is a nice all-around ship? So usable for combat, but also for transport, etc.
Yeah, but what do you mean with transport? Like transporting goods, trading?
Yeah, if you want, most of the time people start in fighters, etc. But if they also want to create a bankroll, are they able to ship goods with these kind of ships?
No, not really. Well, you can do some weapons trading in M3s. I would pick M3s because the moment you haul around weapons or any other type of freight that has a lot of value, pirates will flog around you and you won't survive in a buster. There are types of M3s that have a considerable amount of freight bay, so they would be perfect for that kind of job. And well, what else? For basic trading, they're just not that great. I wouldn't recommend going that way. But on the other hand, if you're gonna do missions, you're gonna have to find some trade-offs in what kind of ship you want to use for it. For instance, if you pick taxi missions, you might be better off with a M5 as they're much faster. And the time limit on those missions are a lot less compared to other types of missions. And it's basically just a ferry mission, go from point A to point B. But if you are gonna do a combat mission, you might want to change up to a fighter or even a frigate, which is the next ship we'll have a look at. This is the M6, the basic M6. And well, it's your general purpose escort type of ship. Does well in escorting ships that can't defend themselves pretty well. It's used against fighters and other frigates. It isn't very good against bigger ships. Doesn't have enough weaponry for it. Especially if you play the XRM mod, which will be showcased in another episode. And on the background here we have the ship that we are flying, which is a hang on there, a heavy Centaur, and this is the prototype version. Which brings me to a little side subject. There are a lot of different variants to the specific classes of ships. So you can have a in case of freighters, which we'll showcase here. Let's see, which is the next ship up. Anyway, this is your basic freighter that you start out with if you take Humble Merchant. It's the smallest type of regular freighters. People transports are smaller in cargo size, but they aren't very effective in hauling other types of cargo. So, and well, you have a lot of types for freighters. Actually, you've got haulers and all kinds of different stuff which you can explore on your own. You also got super freighters, which are much longer. Have a lot more cargo. These do well as automated traders. Their massive cargo hold weighs out the cons that these type of ships have versus their regular counterparts. So if you get enough money and manage to scrape some automated traders together, you might want to invest in these super freighters. They're well worth it. Have fun finding the shipyard that sells them though. For each type of super freighter, for each race, there's only one shipyard that sells them. And I'm not gonna spoil where you might find those. And let's see, what else do we have? The Express, which is the people transport. This is the type of ship you want to use for the passenger transport missions. Not the taxi ones, because the taxi ones have a small time frame. Again, you want to use the M5 for that. These are for the missions where you have to carry a lot of folk from A to B. Most of them are even tour type of missions. You'll have to visit a few different sectors before returning home.
The purpose of the Express is to act as a passenger transporter.
See, this one has a cargo hold of 750 units and can only hold large containers. The regular Mercury has a hold of 4,000 at max and can hold extra large containers, which would be things like ore, which is a good thing to trade in. And the super freighter can hold almost 12,000 units, again with extra large containers. So you might understand this is a better choice for automated traders. Alright, next up is, let's see, we have the, yes, we have that one. The Mammoth, which is a type of trading ship, but you're not gonna use it for trading goods, because it can't dock at a lot of stations. What you want to use this one for, with its massive cargo space of 60,000 units, it can carry station containers, which means that you'll have to use this class of ship to build your own stations, factories, player bases, all that kind of good stuff.
Is that something we can cover in this episode as well, or will this stations will be something for a later date?
Stations will come later. We'll be discussing all the different types of trading in another vid, and stations will be a part of that. So we'll get that eventually. These types of ships, these TLs, they don't have a lot of weapons, so although they can defend themselves against fighters, you should not expect them to hold against bigger ships. Let's see, we have the Minotaur and the Zephyrus. Ah, crap, I did it again. Wrong buttons. These are small carriers. They can carry a handful of fighters. In this case it's 4 ships. And it is a small amount of cargo bay to carry around weaponry and shields, missiles, that sort of stuff. These ships are best used for gathering new fighters around and quickly jumping ships around your fighters. If you use the XRM mod, you'll find that fighters cannot hold a jump drive, so you'll have to utilize these ships a lot. Alright, on to the M7s. M7s are frigates with specific goals set in mind. Yes, specialties. In this case, it's a more of a bulky type of M6, the Cerberus, I believe.
The Cerberus was designed in the face of the increasing
yeah,
threat of
can hold a couple of ships, and it's got more shielding, and it's basically a smaller version of a destroyer, which we'll get to in a little bit. The Minotaur is a missile frigate. These are specialized in launching all types of missiles in large quantities. They have turrets that can turn around and launch missiles at various angles. And they're highly effective against capital ships, or if set up correctly, against a large number of small fighters. And then we have the Griffin, which is... Oh, that's a good question. What is it?
The Federal Argon Navy's attempt to provide a credible anti-fighter capability.
Oh, so this is a specific anti-fighter kind of frigate. I did mention, I said frigates when I was going about the M6, but they're actually called Corvettes, so sorry about that. Next up is the Titan. This is your destroyer type class. These are part of the capital ship range. These are huge. Huge! I think the TL class type of ships, which you can see here in the middle, in the background, are physically bigger than carriers and destroyers, but destroyers pack the most punch. They've got a huge amount of shielding and weaponries.
Argon 1, the Titan class destroyers were the biggest ships.
You use these against other capital ships.
Heavy and
Easy as that.
in the hands of
If you get one from the right race, you can set them up with flak artillery array and such. So they'll be a lot more useful against fighters.
Okay, and what use are these capital ships, by the way? Because when I looked at the speeds, you shouldn't be surprised if you get if a space snail passes you easily.
Well, as I said, you use destroyers to take down other capital ships, so that would include other destroyers, other carriers, TLs, because they have a lot of shielding, and other frigates. This is a carrier. This has a lot less shielding than a destroyer and a lot less firepower than a destroyer, but it can hold its own. But the main thing it has is it can hold up a high amount of fighters. In this case, it can hold 60. And if you download the right scripts for it, which we will cover in a different vid, you can manage these rather easily. You can set them up to be semi-automated. Give them a few simple commands and they will do the rest. These are highly destructive. If you want to just wreak havoc, you want to go with a carrier fitted with a lot of fighters. Even if you put 60 M5s in there, that's 60 M5s that will be fighting, so no, numbers count in this game. But if you are gonna plan on getting this set up with 60 ships, or anything above, well, 5, you might want to install the bounce script, which you can find on the forum, which will get rid of the monkey that is in charge of the autopilot. It'll save you a lot of ships and thus money and time. Alright. I guess we have all the types of ships discussed now. And well, suffice to say, each race has their own stats to every ship. And in case of frigates, some races will have better frigates against fighters and capital ships, and other races will have frigates aimed at doing the missile frigate thing, or for instance. The Argons are pretty much a all-around jack of all trades race. all of their ships can do, well, pretty much anything that the ships of the same class of other racers can do, but they won't be as good at it. And all of the other racers are pretty much good at one thing and less good in another. I believe the Teladi are aimed at speed because they want to make profit. And I think Paranid are outfitted with better shielding and... No, not shielding, with weaponry. And the Split are outfitted with better shielding, I believe. The Terrans are a whole new league. They're pretty much overpowered in vanilla. Their weapons do a lot of damage, but you don't get a lot of choice in weaponry and ship types. And I guess that's it then. Unless Lab has anything to add. Lab!
Yes,
Did you fall asleep?
Not quite, but no, I'm wondering if we have any of the related questions which could be used for this. Well, yeah, weapons, that's really based per race and per type of ship. So
yeah, some ships will only be able to mount a select few of types of weapons, and other ships will be able to select more. Also, some weapons are race specific, so you can only mount them to their own ships. Go on.
Maybe this is a question by Freedom Fighter. How to defend your own freighters?
Freighter self-defense. Well, we can cover that.
Mercury is the latest.
They have, most of them have 1 or 2 turrets on it, which is good against missiles. If you set it up, you will need to use a pack or something smaller and faster firing. But what you want to do is give them the order to avoid fire, if anything, which should be the auto jump. And let's see, no, there should be, I gotta check if it has the right equipment in it, otherwise I will... No, it does, it does. Well, you would want to keep an eye on your freighters anyway. And if you set up the automated freighter or Mark III, the higher the level that they have, the better they'll be at deploying their fighter drones and avoiding marked sectors or enemy sectors. So it's mostly automated. You can get a couple of scripts that will enhance the way that your automated traders work in case of combat. Like that they will jump away when they reach a certain shield level, or you can black mark sectors which your automated traders cannot go to, and that sort of stuff. But it's all part of third-party scripts, which are done by excellent scripters, which were players in the beginning just like you and me. But yeah, it's definitely worthwhile to install a couple of scripts and mods to get this game more to a more polished state, which we will be discussing in a different episode. I guess that concludes our business.
I got a question of my own, returning to one we had earlier. But what would be a nice a ship with quite some storage room, and also has a decent amount of weapons or shields to protect itself, as in some sort of, let's say, give an historical example, an East Indiaman, which is one of the ships the Dutch used as a armed merchant ship.
Yes, well, you don't actually exactly have something like this in this game. You're gonna be either piloting a freighter and you're having a lot more cargo hold, or you're gonna be piloting a fighter with much less cargo hold. There's not really something that comes in between, although there is one ship that I know of. Let's see, bring up the cheat menu here. I forgot what race it was. I think it's the Argon.
For the record, people, this is only for educational purposes. Don't use this at home.
What? The
cheating.
yeah, alright. Set the race to my own.
Prototype available. Eclipse prototype.
No, that's not the right one. There are two types of the Eclipse. This is the ugly one. And
Definitely.
the other one. A lot of people will say that it looks like a turret, sorry. The one that I'm about to spawn, but I enjoy it much more than the new model. So this is the new Eclipse model. Just like a beefed up Buster, I believe. And here is the old Eclipse. It's much more sleek in my opinion. It is bigger, by the way. It's quite a large ship.
Reminds me a bit of a crocodile.
Yes, yes. Guess it does. These ships are M3 Plus, which means they're the heavy fighters. This one has 2 turrets on it. As you can see right here on the end, and there's one here. Right here above the cockpit. And the M3 Plus ships have more shielding and weaponry than the regular M3s. Alright. So if you're gonna go with the weapon trader kind of thing, I guess this is, or well, the M3 Plus is the best type of ship you could use for that, for personal flight. The great thing about Mark III Trader, by the way, is that you can set it up on fighters as well, and they'll start being a weapons dealer instead of a general goods dealer. They'll need a minimum level for that though, and I'm not sure what level that is. You can just mess around with it, find out yourself. And if they get on the highest level, which is 25 versus the general goods trader, which is level 25 as well. It's the same software package they use, Trading Software Mark III. I believe they'll make just as much profit by either dealing weapons or by dealing general goods. So either way that you prefer, you can set them up. All right.
Gee, Braden, what are we going to do next time?
I'm not sure yet. We're either gonna discuss the mods and scripts, which will make your game a lot more polished, or we're gonna delve into the trading part of the game. Either way, we'll be discussing both in each their own episode. So hang in tight, and remember to give all your remarks and place your questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
This was Bucket Smith, and
this is Lab.
goodbye.
See ya.